Hey guys, welcome back to Pine Haven Acres Rabbitry. So today I wanted to show you my winter chore routine. I just let the cats out and now we are going to grab some baby bunnies that I'm shelving. I'll do a whole nother video on this, but basically shelving is when you keep the baby bunnies inside and then you bring them out to feed with their mom twice a day. Usually it's because it's too cold outside for the baby bunnies. And they do really well with the shelving method. When they reach a certain age, like 4 weeks old maybe, or depending on how cold it is outside, they can be moved outside. So these guys are 2 weeks old. They are from Mocha and Moose, both chocolate silver foxes. These guys are actually humongous. They're the size of my 4-week-olds that I have. They're doing really well, so we're going to bring them outside and feed them first, and then I'll run these back up to the house before we continue with chores. Alright, so we are in the shed right now. This is where I feed the baby bunnies that were inside the house. I also have this system set up for my other baby bunnies, both silver fox litters, about 4 weeks old. And they have heat lamps. It stays about 10 to 15 degrees warmer in here than it does outside with the heat lamps. And so far, no frozen water. So it's just about 40 degrees in here. So we're doing pretty good with the temperature. The 2 baby bunnies are going to be moved into this cage here with their mom in a few weeks, and then I'll add another heat lamp for them. We have a chocolate and black litter in here from Rapini and Moose. Rapini was born here. Her mom is Mocha and her dad is Lettuce. She's a really good looking doe. I don't think I've shown her besides the fair. And she did pretty good. I think she's grown into her body more, so she would do even better. She got a first place ribbon last time, but I think she could probably win best of breed depending on who's showing. And then I have a chocolate litter over here. This is from Chino or Cappuccino and Moose. So they both have the same dads, both litters. And she had 8. So super excited for this litter. Chino is also a really good looking doe. I've never shown her, but I plan to in the spring. And I also fostered over a black baby from Rapini's litter just to even out the litters a little bit more. So we have 9 and 9. So I brought the 2 baby bunnies from inside the house and I put them in this box and covered it with a towel. This is what I do to feed them. So I get the mom and I put her in there with them. And I know that she's done feeding them when she tries to get out of the box, and also that the baby bunnies' bellies are really full. So super easy method. I'm going to go grab the mom, put her in there, and feed everybody else pellets while she's nursing. And usually by the time I'm done with that, she's ready to go back to her cage. Alright, while the mom is feeding the babies, I'm going to show you what I feed. So we do pellets and hay. These pellets are FPC commercial from Heinold Feeds. 16% protein, 3% fat, and 20 to 25% fiber. When I first started using this, I was super excited because it has a ton of fiber in it, and usually you don't see that much in a rabbit pellet. The protein is pretty good. I usually aim for 16 to 17%, and the fat is a little bit on the higher end. I would prefer it to be closer to 2%, but for a general pellet that I can feed everybody, I think this is a pretty good formula. And the FPC commercial, I'm not sure if this is on the Heinold website or if they sell it from their website. But it just comes in a plain brown bag. It's nothing fancy, and it's actually cheaper than most of their feeds. I have an old bag of the family formula. You can see how much fancier it looks. So this I just get from a feed dealer, and I think I get it for, it's a 50-pound bag. I get it for about $17 a bag. And if I can remember correctly, it's pretty much the same formula as the Oren Reynolds. But yeah, so I'm going to go feed the bunnies pellets, and then when we get back, I'll put the mom away, and then we'll run the baby bunnies to the house and continue with chores. Okay, so I just made some supplement. This is just oats, like oatmeal, and sunflower seeds. I'm going to mix this up and then give it to the baby bunnies. This is just to help them stay warmer with the carbs and fats, and it helps their growth rate a little bit. Sometimes I'll feed it to them the rest of the time of the year, but in the winter it's especially important. Just gives them a little boost and a little snack, especially if they're not really into eating their pellets right away. It's really important that they get these fats and carbs, especially with the cold weather that we have. Set it down, and then we'll mix it. I just did 1 part sunflower seeds and 1 part oats. And then I'm going to fill up their little container that they have in here. And there are 11 rabbits in this cage, so I'm just going to fill it up all the way. And it's also a good supplement for the moms, especially if they just had a litter. It helps get their conditioning back and help them fill out more, especially if they lost a lot of weight during pregnancy and birth. And then it also helps with their milk supply. So, really good supplements all around. There are some other like pellets that are mixed for supplements and things like that, but this is just a really good raw supplement that you can give them. The oatmeal is, at any grocery store, and then the sunflower seeds are for birds, black oil sunflower seeds. So we're gonna go give the other litter some of that and start on watering all of the bunnies. Alright, so when I was feeding the baby bunnies, I noticed that one of them had its eye closed. It was kind of gunky and it had solidified so that its eye was closed. So all that I did was I brought it inside, got some warm water and a Q-tip, and we gently pried it open. It's really important that it doesn't stay closed because that can cause infection and the baby bunny could go blind. So it's all better now. We got it opened, and I'm gonna wait until it dries because it could freeze outside and that would be really irritating for its eye. So I'm waiting for it to dry and then it'll go back with its mom. If this was to get more irritated and red and gunky and all that kind of stuff, then I would put terramycin, either ointment or drops, near its eye, and that should clear it all up. So thought I should share that really quick, and then we'll continue feeding the bunnies. Alright, so we are going to do the water. I always fill up a 5-gallon bucket of water, and we pretty much go through all of it for the chickens and the rabbits. So I've got to fill that up and carry it back down to the rabbits, which is kind of the worst part about doing chores in the winter, but everything freezes, so this is just how we got to do it. Got my 5-gallon bucket here, and I'm gonna fill it up with the faucet. So this is where I have to walk from all the way down there. And then I've also got this metal dog dish, and this is what I use to transport the water from the bucket into everybody's bowls so that I don't contaminate the main bucket of water. And that's worked out pretty well for us. So we'll see you back down there. also thought that I should show you what I use for bowls for the water in the winter. So I do these plastic bowls that clip on like that on the back. And then I also do metal bowls. I do both depending on the cage that they're in. Some of them have bowl holders for these, other ones don't, so I just clip this onto the wire. And this is the first winter that I've used plastic bowls. I've always used the metal. But I'm actually kind of liking these because they're bendable. So like if you get a big ice chunk in here, you can bend the sides just enough to loosen up the ice chunk. And then I can, like, you know, tap it on a cement block or the cage itself to get the rest of it out. With this, I have to tap it on a cement block. And you obviously can't really move the sides of this to loosen up the ice. So it's a lot more work with this. But yeah, we'll see. It's not really frozen a ton. I've had a few mornings where it's all frozen, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, and I'll probably do like a review video maybe in the springtime or in the middle of the winter. We'll see, but thought I should mention that. So the chores are 100% complete, but before we end this video, I wanted to talk about winterizing your rabbit hutches. This is something that a lot of people are getting into in this season, so I want to talk a little bit about it. This hutch behind me has what I call winter boxes or nest boxes. You can see these little rooms here, and those are connected to the cage. And so in the summertime I use these for nest boxes, but in the winter they are converted into winter boxes, which basically is just a room that is completely enclosed and blocked from the wind and the elements, a place that I can stuff with hay and they can snuggle up in. That is really all a rabbit needs in an outdoor hutch. They just need a space that they can get away from the wind, the rain, the snow, a place that they can snuggle up in thick bedding and stay warm. They don't need a heat lamp, they don't need a heating pad, they don't need any of that kind of stuff, because if they've been living outside through the fall, then their bodies have prepared themselves for cold weather, if you are in a climate that has cold weather, and their coat has gotten thicker, their bodies have been storing up more fat, so their bodies prepare themselves for winter naturally, and they actually prefer cold weather compared to hot weather. In the hot weather, they're really prone to heat stroke and being dehydrated and a bunch of other health issues than in cold weather. So even if you think your bunny might be freezing and you want to bring it inside because it's really cold all of a sudden, absolutely don't. They will be completely fine outside if they have a proper hutch set up. The worst thing that you could do in the winter is bring your bunny inside the house. If they go from, say, 10 degrees to 70 degrees inside, it's a huge shock to their body, and they could actually die a lot more quickly from that shock than they could from freezing outside. So always keep your outside bunnies outside during the winter if that's the plan. Otherwise, if you want them to live inside during the winter, make that transition in the early fall when the temperature is about the same indoors and outside. So the next thing about winterizing the hutch, I'll show you what it looks like inside here. So she's got lots of hay. This is a wire floor for, especially when she has babies, because they like to go to the bathroom in their nest and I don't want it to build up. But I put a solid piece of wood on there to insulate the bottom floor, and then I fill it with bedding. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about is blocking the wind on, say, all wire cages, or even hutches like this one where 3 of the walls are wire. I always recommend insulating your hutches so that only one wall has, a minimum of one wall has no protection. So this one I still have to work on. I need to put protection on this wall and that wall, and I will probably leave the front wall open. The key to insulating your cages is blocking out the elements in the wind, but also not blocking out the sunlight. They really need the sunlight. So if you can find a material that is clear, like a plastic, like a greenhouse panel that you can cut to size, or a more expensive option would be some type of plexiglass, or you could do a feed bag, an old feed bag, staple that up there. That's not really clear, but if you leave the front wall open toward the light, then that would be perfectly fine. Otherwise, you could do like a clear shower curtain at the dollar store, or there's a lot of options, and a lot of people had made videos of this that you can look up. So there's a lot of things that you could do. And the other thing that I also want to show you guys, because all of my cages are a little different, is with this option, the winter boxes can access from the front. With most of my other cages, you can kind of see back here, the boxes are on the exterior of the cage and they're kind of sticking out there. So I'll show you how these ones work. They can access it from back there. It's a little hole in the wall. And then I can access it from back here. It's like a chicken nest box almost. So one thing that I don't like about this style is it does not have a wire floor. So my newer cages that I make, I always put a wire floor on the nest box area. But these work perfectly fine for the winter. I just have to make sure that they're not using it as a bathroom. And the last tip that I have is if your rabbit is using the winter box for a bathroom, just block it off. Because if they're using it for a bathroom, it means that they don't need it for warmth. They're choosing to use it for a litter box. So once it does get colder, open it back up, make sure that it's clean, spray it with vinegar so they don't smell that they went to the bathroom in it a while back, fresh bedding, all that. And if it is cold enough where they think that they need a warm spot to go, which it could be like 30 degrees or lower when they decide that, then they'll actually use it for a winter box. Otherwise, if they are really into using a litter box, put a litter box in their cage somewhere else and then open up their winter box once they start using the litter box. So yeah, that's the last tip that I have. If you guys have any questions about the video, or if you want to share how you winterize your hutches, any of that, feel free to leave a comment below, and we'll see you in the next video.